We are live. Welcome to the REI 101 call. I'm with my good friend and co-host Alberto Medellin. Alberto, how are you feeling, bro?
Oh, I'm a little sore. Just a little
Okay,
bit.
for those of y'all who do not know, if you've been on the call, you know this, but on Saturday, I woke up and I ran 12 miles with Alberto, and when I was done, he ran another 38 miles for a total of 50 miles, being that
Oh,
he just turned 50 years old, ran
yes.
50 miles, and it was pretty awesome because I got to bring my 7-year old back later that day, and we got to run that final stretch with Alberto. So that was
That was
very,
special.
very cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I appreciate all the support that came out that day. Saturday was warm, but just very happy I got it done. It was a great challenge. Built a lot
Alberto,
more.
are you in Houston as well?
Yes, I live in Texas City, so we ran in the Seabrook area. So yeah, in the heat.
Yeah. Alberto, what was the hardest, what was the most challenging part of your day?
Saturday,
Saturday.
the 12 miler that I ran by myself.
So, okay, so I was there for the first 12 miles,
Right.
and
Then I
then you,
ran then I ran 12 alone. Then I ran four 6-ish mile loops, but I had Hal, then Ivan, then Ryan, and then Vic, and then you at the end too. So
that is such a profound principle at play right there. The fact that the third quarter and the fourth quarter, even the last quarter was easier than the that one section you were alone.
yes.
Being alone was the hardest part of the whole race. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it shows what we can do when we're together,
We're
pushing each
better
other.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just excited. I have a very, very special guest. I want to introduce my my coach, Alicia Shepard. She's a commercial investor, agent, director, coach, teacher, motivational speaker. She's also an amazing vocalist and musician and songwriter. Alicia and I are going to be performing at Orvy's in Burton, Texas, Saturday night. So if you're anywhere between Austin, Texas, and Houston, Texas, or Dallas, College Station, Waco, just make the drive out there. We're going to
San
have
Antonio. Yeah, we're
San
like right in the
Antonio.
middle of all of it.
Yeah.
Put your finger on the
So
map in between.
so we want to introduce Alicia Shepard. Thanks for being here,
Thanks
Alicia.
for the invite. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for the invite.
So this is episode 22 of the REI 101 podcast. The purpose of our show is to provide a platform in the community where people that are getting into real estate investing and wanting to learn more, not just about residential single family homes, but we do talk a lot about commercial real estate investing as well. But this is a good platform. So, Alicia, why don't you tell everybody? There are some people out there, believe it or not, that don't know you.
Oh, I think
Um,
most of the world doesn't know who the hell I am.
yeah. Where did you come from and where did you go?
uh, the Cotton Eye Joe. So I am all things commercial real estate. I am based out of Austin, Texas. I own Nucleus Commercial Real Estate Training. We are a training platform designed for somebody who wants to build a foundation underneath their real estate career for really authentic commercial understanding. And so when I got into commercial real estate 18 years ago now, I went to where I thought was the best training in the industry. And they pretty much partner you with a senior agent. So your success is highly dependent on the quality of the senior agent you got partnered with. And they give you like this, literally like, a little journal that's like this with a binder of terms. And then they throw you on a phone and they say, go build a database. Best of luck. Make us some money. And you go on a 50-50 split with the house and a 50-50 split with your mentor, which if you run that math, you're down to 25% split, and then you run your own expenses off of that. And you seem like you got a great deal because you sit in a fancy office and you get to have a very fancy wardrobe. That's the expectation of the job. And you better take clients out to lunch. That's the expectation of the job. And by the way, you're not going to make money for the first year. And they just throw you in the weeds and then hope you make it.
Mm,
And as I got through that first year, I looked up and I realized everyone was learning at the client's expense.
yeah.
And I thought that really, from a fiduciary standpoint and just from an ethics standpoint, I thought that wasn't okay. And so I built Nucleus, which is a commercial real estate training platform that says, hold on, let's actually pause and learn everything that you're going to learn in the first 2 years of the business. Let's take 8 weeks and learn that. Let's take
Yeah.
8 weeks and put our head down and get really good at what you're doing first so that you could build your database, build your business, build your knowledge base, and then hit go. And
Right.
what that does is increase the potential of earning for most people. And I'm really passionate about that because the commercial real estate industry, 1 in 10 will ever make a paycheck. And I think that statistic kind of sucks. And I'd like to see that change. And in Nucleus, we see 7 in 10 of our people get into earning activity in the commercial real estate space.
It's
So
just like with anything else, when you get thrown into something and there's no plan, there's no model, it's, failure rate's going to be incredibly high. And
huge,
yeah, but
huge.
with a lot of things, all you need is a simple plan and you need a process, a plan of action.
That's it.
And it's normally whether you're a real estate broker agent or you're investing in real estate. And we've talked, Albert and I have been talking about this for months. The process is not complicated. You just need to learn the process
Yeah.
and commit to it, right? So,
That's right. And so
yeah.
Nucleus tackles that. From that, we train about 1,000 agents per year in Nucleus. From that, it led me into coaching. So now I have different coaching models that I run in commercial real estate. The program that Austin's going through right now with me is 7 figures in 90 days. That's like a boot camp where I just kick your ass up and down the field to go get $1 million of GCI in 12 weeks. And then I do one-on-one coaching. I coach teams. And then I also have launched Commercial Real Estate Network, where we offer administrative marketing, data analytics, database building, and transactional support services for commercial real estate brokers. Because there's not a lot of support for like the back of house, if you
Hmm.
will, in
Yeah.
commercial real estate as well. So we do that. So pretty much, if it's anything commercial real estate, I'm your gal. Because I broker and I invest. I'm working on buying a town right now. And if it's
Buying the whole town,
residential, whole town. If
the
it's
whole town.
residential, I'll refer you to a great friend because I've never sold a house, not even my own. But I'm all things commercial real estate.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, we're gonna be talking about deal acquisitions, and we're basing our
let's go.
conversation on the 5 models of the millionaire real estate agent. By the way, on the call, if you can come off mute and ask questions, you're welcome to, but I will be giving a copy away of the Millionaire Real Estate Investor.
Investor.
That's the
I
blue
love that.
book. Here's how you get entered in the contest. You just have to comment something, just participate, and then before we end this afternoon, you'll have an opportunity. So feel free to ask questions. So let's go ahead and get into it. So Alicia, thanks so much for being here, and
Absolutely.
we need to get you on like a full interview and just go through your whole life story at some point.
Yeah,
So
it's a fun one.
when we talk about models in real estate investing, and there's 5 models that we want to look at today. I'll just read these off. There's the net worth model, the financial model, the network model, the lead generation model, and then the acquisition model. So when we set out in search of these models, this is from Gary Keller himself. When we set out in search of these models, we're working from the idea that 2 heads are better than one. By interviewing over 100 millionaire real estate investors, we amplified that simple truth many times over. Albert, you proved that over the weekend. When you're with other people, we can accomplish so much more, right?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. I think like, I mean, there's so many things that I can apply real estate to running and races and the mileage, when you when you want to run fast, go alone, but when you want to run far, go together. I mean, I think that applies to business as well, as an entrepreneur, as a real estate investor, as an agent, a broker, all of those things, right? I don't think that, I mean, we weren't built to be alone anyway, but yeah, doing it together, we're stronger together. Having a solid team behind you and the processes and things like that that are a part of that will help you go much further. You can go fast and do it alone, but if you really want to go far in this industry, having the right teams around you, they're just game changer.
100%. 100%.
I think you used the right word, though. It's the right team,
The
because
right
the
team.
wrong team will torch your best game every
Mhm.
single day of the week. And so I think where people get off track is like they look for the fast, easy button versus the process easy button, right? And like the easy button can be very tempting when they're like, pay me this check and I'll just do everything for you.
Hmm.
That's the wrong team.
Yeah.
That's the wrong team. But a team that like you're going to slow down and really do a thorough interview process and really like double check, is this like the right thesis? Is this the right investment team for me? Are we aligned as partners? That's the right team.
Mhm.
But if it's someone that says this is too good to be true and you say yes, well, that was your own damn fault. Was too good to be true because
Yeah.
you
I
went too
think
fast.
we've seen what can happen when you go both ways. When you rush into a relationship with somebody, it's kind of like dating. If you
It's
move too
exactly
fast,
like dating.
yeah,
Yeah.
you'll end up going out with crazy, and you don't, that's not where we want to be in life. We want to be,
No.
people that we know and we like and we trust, and same with business. And so when you find somebody, whether it be contractors, vendors, lenders, you find somebody that's good, like be loyal to them, like give them another chance, keep using them. You don't always, it's important to have those relationships and cultivate them. And so let's talk about the net worth model. It's a three-part model for identifying the best investment vehicles for your goals, budgeting your money in order to have more to invest, and tracking your assets and liabilities to measure your progress toward financial wealth. I think there's a lot that can be said about the net worth. So, Alicia, you can coach me on this, but I'd be curious to get your perspective on. So, I have two net worth trackers that I use, and I have a video on YouTube about how to do this. So, we have our personal net worth tracker, where it's just all of our our assets and our liabilities, and we track that on a regular monthly basis or so. And I also have a net worth tracker specifically for my business, and I can see if it's increasing in value, if it's decreasing in value. And I think that that could be applied to different businesses, different assets even. um, Alberto, he has a large portfolio of investment properties, cash flowing properties, and so not every one of your properties, Alberto, are created equal. They're not
Right.
all equally as valuable.
Right. Yeah,
Sorry
yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
for sure. No, I mean, I do something very similar to what you do, Austin. And I think as we accumulate properties, you know, we're going to talk about this in a second here, but there's debt pay down, right? There's the cash
Hmm.
flow from the property, there's appreciation from the property, and all of that will have an impact on your net worth. And I think when you're tracking properties, especially if you have a bunch of single family homes, which is what we have, so it's a similar asset class, but when we're tracking the performance of each one, over time, it's easier to decide, which one you have to disposition. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Or if you want to trade up, it makes sense. So it's not so random. So I think tracking your net worth is very important in with decision making, especially like kind of forecasting out as well. What's going to be happening in 3 to 5 years. We I pay attention to it probably more than I should because it doesn't budge a lot, in the short term.
To the
But
forecasting, you
it's
pay
good to
to.
track.
Are you referring to the forecasting that are just overall tracking?
Just no, just tracking like that net worth. like over time. I think when we had our call last Monday, I went back and took a look at it, and I can actually go back like 365, 2 years, 3 years,
Mm.
and see how it's increased over that amount of time. If I'm looking back 90 days, well, it hasn't really done that much movement. Besides, our stock portfolios have gotten a lot better since April, but other than that, it's worth the tracking.
Alberto, let me ask, are you looking at the same process today that you had 2, 3 years ago?
Good question.
No, I will say, I mean, there's a lot more assets that are in there now. Before it was just 401k, our taxable brokerage accounts, like that was it.
Yeah.
And I managed it a lot closer at that time too, but once we started in real estate investing, um, I kind of handed that part off to we have a financial advisor that we're working with now, so I kind of handed that part off because I didn't want to. It just drove me nuts, to be honest with you, just to try to
100%.
track that. Yeah, try to track the 401k and the taxable brokerage accounts. I got better tracking the hard assets that we had, the single family homes that we were putting in there, and then the income that was coming in from flips, from wholesales, and things like that. I that process is a little bit different. There's just more assets there. And there's more accounts. I think bringing in data. Before it was just more personal accounts, but now we have multiple business accounts and expense accounts and things like that that are feeding data into this tracker as well.
I asked that question because I think, like real estate in this area, so many times we can be attracted to the shiny toy. Like we hear a Gary V or someone with like a big flashy name have some new toy that we all get attracted to, is like, this is going to be the way that we
Oh,
start tracking or doing things,
yeah,
right? And so we get off in the weeds of some new way.
yeah,
What I think I witness amongst people that are having a really healthy relationship with dividing or determining their personal net worth and it actually holding water is someone that has like, this is my process, this is the method, or I have a reputable CPA that's doing it. They're not constantly changing or evolving the
no,
methodology. It's a
right,
ride or die system, even if you don't always like the answer, because it's not super sexy and it's not always changing and evolving. Sometimes it should be boring
yeah,
because it's doing its job.
yeah,
And I when I hear you say like, it didn't move a lot in 90 days, that to me is a mature answer,
Hmm.
yeah,
which I think sometimes someone who's listening, you might need to hear that's a good thing. That's not bad.
yeah,
That means that your portfolio is riding in an economy like we're in right now, a portfolio riding the wave with little to no movement or some positive momentum or holding still. That's a good thing,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
That's not a bad thing. Having a thesis for how you not divide, how you determine your net worth
Hmm.
or how you are going to organize this process, I think that's very important.
yeah.
That's very
And now
important.
I better understand your question now. So yeah, I am a ride or die guy. So I've been using the same software tracker probably since let me see. Oh gosh, 2017. So for about eight
Hmm.
years. It was called Personal Capital. And I think back then they had Mint was part of this. And then
Yeah.
Personal Capital sold to or created this company called Empower. And it's just been the same system. Again, I don't like, I'm kind of old school. So I do like new technology and new ways to do things, but it works. And you're right. Sometimes I don't really like the answer, but I don't need to massage it. I'm in for the long haul.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. We go through Mark Kohler's organization and like we've been with him since 2000, I want to say 19 as well, right as COVID kicked in. And it's just a simple process. We run everything with them. We meet with their attorneys it's almost every other month at this point because we've just got a lot of moving pieces and we're keeping a scorecard
Hmm.
Mhm.
and our money in, money out, like we just have a grade based on performance. We get literally a school grade. How are we doing? And then what is our net worth growth happening
I
alongside
like
that?
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then, so net worth model, and then we'll talk about the second one. It's the financial model, kind of similar model. Financial models model for understanding the three ways wealth is built through real estate ownership. I think in my experience with, especially with commercial real estate, cash flow seems to be the priority for a lot of people, and I think that um, they're they're missing out on really understanding like how powerful our investments are. Because there's number one, there's cash flow. Number two, appreciation. And then there's the debt pay down. And by the way, if you have any interest in the multifamily sector, I am doing a stream tomorrow at 12:30, and we go through this. We calculate cash flow, DSCR, the internal rate of return, and uh, just cash on cash. So send me a message or let me know if you want to be on that. But that's going to be on Twitch. I just started doing that. So financial model. So how do you track this? How do you track when it comes to an asset? How do you track the cash flow, the appreciation? What tools are we using?
So
What
I'm
process?
using a couple things. So as far as like appreciation and debt pay down, we're still tracking that kind of in our net worth tracker, cash flow and kind of performance of the asset in that respect. That's all kind of like our P&L and our QuickBooks, that we work with our CPA to kind of track that as well. Um, Honestly, I don't really look at that too much. I just make sure, obviously we can pay the bills, right? And I think when it comes time for us to potentially dispo a property, then we'll go back and look at, okay, what's our P&L over the last 12 months, right,
Hmm.
for this particular house, um, that IRR, right? Have we built up a lot of equity in this property, but
Right.
still kind of keeping the same cash flow? Okay, so maybe we can reposition that equity into, a larger property, or just kind
Hmm.
of trade up, so to speak. I haven't reached that point yet in our investment cycle, so we're still accumulating properties. We haven't really disposed too many. So, but that's how I think we would leverage or use that financial model.
Alicia, how do you analyze the financial performance? Like, what are some tips that you can give us as far as
Yep.
analyzing the IRR, ROI, DSCR cap rates?
I'm going to give a little bit of a complicated answer here. Is that okay? Just go on a journey
Yeah,
with me. So I'm a big believer that real estate should never be sold. And I say that as a real estate agent, and like I sell commercial real estate problems. Every commercial broker that's ever worked with me just threw their shoe at the screen saying, "Shut up, what are you doing? You took our job." But
I have
go
to
on a journey
process
with me
that.
here. I know, isn't that horrible? But as an investor, I believe in the principles of like you hold on to your real estate. The only time you would not hold on to your real estate is when it is a piece that you have acquired that its job is to swell and grow in such a way that you could sell it and 1031 it into a larger asset.
Right.
There's a book that I think any investor that wants to have their real estate take them on a journey into much larger real estate should read. And that is No Free Lunch in Real Estate
Yep.
by John Swire, Jonswire. John is an investor in multifamily. He has a huge portfolio in Long Beach, California at this point. He was a like ad hoc professor at UCLA and a real estate broker in California. He wrote the book to be his buy or sell pitch because you
Hmm.
essentially like have people come to the class, take the 2 day course with him. By the way, you paid to take the class with him. You'd sit in this classroom and take it with him. He made it seem so complicated that by the end, 3/4 of the room looked up and was like, "This is so complicated. I would
Hmm.
never do this myself." And he would go, "And by the way, if you need an agent to do this for you, I raise funds. You can put all your money in my fund and I'll do it for you." So he would execute the process he demos in the book with other people's money. Brilliant. And there's nothing that says you couldn't be the brilliant person who, in this next market wave that's coming, did this in your own market.
Hmm.
Dear real estate agents who just threw shoes at me, I just threw my shoe back at you.
There you go.
So there you go. But that would be the book I would read. So you would buy multifamily assets, and he teaches the process of what would you do if you had $60,000 of cash to invest in real estate? How do you turn that into $6 million of equity?
Hmm.
in a very short period of time. I forget the timeline, but I think it's within 5 years, which is that's one real estate cycle, right? That's one
Yeah.
swing. And he demos that so quickly, just boom, boom, boom. And it's watching your exchange timelines. And so we followed that methodology. We made the investments. We did the trade upward. The only time I've sold real estate was when it was smaller multifamily pieces, to be frank, in the west side and like hoods of LA that we exchanged to be available into more commercial assets. And so now we have commercial assets only, and we manage all of them in VTS. That's for like managing commercial assets. But the part that is important about that is if you want to go on that journey, you have to
Mhm.
manage what your trend lines on income are going to look like so that you know your exit timelines before you take the property down.
Say that
So
again. That last part again.
you have to look at a property's income
Hmm.
and be able to project what your exit timeline is going to be before you even close on the property.
Right, right.
I
So
had
you're
I
going
had to
into,
know before I closed on it, before the bank and I said, okay, we're triggering the loan on this, and I paid my down payment. I had to know that within 3 years or 5 years, depending on which investment thesis we were deploying, that the income revenue was going to grow at such a level that I could get the exit value I was going to need to be able to exchange that into the replacement property I was going
right.
to want to be able to move it into based on my investment goals.
Genius. I read that book, by the way.
It's a
Incredible
great
book.
book, but it's a sales pitch. The whole book is a sales pitch. I love that book as an investor. I love that book as a trainer. I love that book as a broker. The whole book is a sales pitch. Yeah, I recommend it as much as I recommend the Keller Library.
Well, we read it, and I know there's probably a few people on this call that read that book as
It's a
well.
good one.
I
Good
think
one.
I need to go read it again because that's a very
He
powerful
should give me
strategy.
royalties. I probably sell
I
more
know.
copies of his book than he does. He probably looks up and he's like, "Why do I have to keep printing this damn thing? I thought I was
Yeah.
doing this. Who keeps selling my books?" Yeah,
Yeah, it is print to order. So they don't print it till you order it, just like at Burger King. So
there you go.
okay, number three. This is a powerful one. We've talked about this one, the network model. This is a model for building and organizing a network of investing relationships to mentor, advise, and help you. There are so many. First of all, there's so many different players, and we can review this again. But then some really important strategies and methods for building this network. Well, let's go to Alberto. What are some of your as far as building a network goes? Because you're finding deals from like just some pretty obscure places sometimes, and
Yeah,
uh,
I mean, what we teach. So number one, I really believe in hiring a coach or mentor when you get started with this. I mean, that
um,
that there's only so much you can learn from YouTube University. You can print out your own certificate at the end and feel good about yourself, but you're not going to have someone there, a real live person, typically there answering questions, walking you through this, holding your hand, doing all those things. So that was one of the very first and best decisions we made at the very beginning in 2020 when we got started. So just want to say that first and foremost, hiring a mentor, coach, doing
I
your
think Alicia
research.
would definitely agree with that one.
Yeah,
Well,
doing your
they
research, getting somebody there that's gonna, that's doing this as well, right? Not a guru, but a guru, right? Someone who's making their money actually doing what you want to do and
Not a
not just
guru,
from
but a
teaching,
doer.
right?
I'm
Yeah.
writing
So
that one down. That's great.
so that was another thing too, is I wanted to find someone that was actually doing the thing that I wanted to do. They weren't making all their money teaching. They were making their money in the business that I wanted to be in. So that was another thing. That's some criteria when I was looking for a coach slash mentor. But what we teach our students now, because now I'm a coach in this mentorship program, is putting yourself out there, making yourself available, knowing what you know, knowing what you don't know. People are going
Hmm.
to approach you, they want to take you to coffee, all these things. I was entertaining every request at the time in the beginning because I was just really trying to network, really trying to know people. I was buying a lot of coffee, buying a lot of lunches, even having a coach slash mentor. I was still wanting to learn all these things, Austin. Going to your meetups as well, your happy hours. I mean, that has paid dividends. I can't even put a number on it, to be honest with you. just how we've managed to grow our portfolio just from networking at your happy hours, right? So you've got that as well.
You're
Putting
welcome.
yourself out there though, and what I mean by that is documenting your journey on social media. That's super powerful. Gary Vee, we talked about him earlier. He
Mhm.
talks about that all the time. Is even if it's your very first property, it's a flip, maybe you made 5,000 or you lost $10,000, whatever it is. Being transparent, people love that. People
Mhm.
are attracted to that, being genuine. And what that's afforded us are referrals. Is now we have people who know us, like us, trust us. They see that we deal with people that are in whatever kind of distress with morals and integrity and compassion to their situation to try to help them. I'm working on a deal right now that could be a subject to deal. It's literally two doors down from my house.
Mm.
And I didn't realize the owner slash landlord was in distress, but I knew the agent that sold him the property in 2022. And she reached out to me saying, "Hey, I've got a landlord. He's
How
been
does she
collecting
how
rent."
does she know to reach out to you?
Well, she had already reached out to me on two other properties that we were able to help her
Okay.
with last year, and she was one of the agents. Remember, I told you people were just pouring like into me. I was trying to meet people. I had known
Mhm.
her since I was 20 years old. So for
Wow.
Mm,
30 years, I've known her. And I knew her when she was working at a dentist office, and then she got her real estate license, and now she's a really great broker. Um, anyway, when I was learning about all this stuff before I hired my coach, I was reaching out to agents. I reached out to you. I reached out to a few other people. She was one of them. She came to our house with her laptop. Hey, let me show you how to run comps. She took the time out of her day to come teach me how to do some things with no agenda. There was nothing that she was going to get in return.
Mhm.
And we just developed that professional relationship moving forward, where I never bought a property from her, never used her as an
Yeah.
agent on anything. I've paid her referral fees, of course, on properties that she sent our way, but she knows how. There we go.
love it.
You cut out a little bit at the end, but
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I didn't know if you caught that, but she knew, she knows how we run our business and how we deal with people fairly, and so that's why she continues to bring her tough deals to us because she knows we may be able to find a creative way to help her clients.
I love it. Alicia, any do's or don'ts with networking or
I mean, I think that the biggest don't is don't say yes to everyone just because that feels like what you're supposed to do.
Mhm.
Like define what your network is going to be. And I think there's three ways to organize your network. One is your inner circle, and that's your mentors and partners.
Mhm.
And not everybody's a mentor. Your mentor has to be someone that you would like reach up at least a level or more, right? Partners shouldn't be everybody that wants to do partnership with you. It would be someone that is an opportunity.
Right.
Again, reach up if that would be the right partnership for you. Then the next is your support circle. And that's going to be like your vendors, right? So different than vendors, actually. That would be almost more like attorneys, agents, lenders,
Mhm.
like that community. And then the third in your network model would be like your service circle. That's where vendors would live, and that's contractors, inspectors, things like that. And so if they don't fall into one of those three, then they don't really get to live in that network model. And
Yeah.
notice what I didn't say is on there is everybody that is, hey, I want to learn from you. Hey, can I shadow you?
Mhm.
Let me just follow you on this deal and I'll just watch.
Say those
The
three
next,
levels again.
yeah, no problem. The first is your inner circle, and that
Inner
should be one
circle.
that's leveling you up. Support circle, and that's one that's sitting almost like on an elevated stage with you,
Mhm.
one that's going to make you perform a little bit better than you would, play your game a little bit better, right? And then your service circle, which is going to be like your vendors, your inspectors and contractors and such.
Okay. So inner support service circle, those three circles. So
Mhm.
in a practical application, if you're on this call, my recommendation is for everyone to get a database of some type. One that I could recommend that's free is HubSpot. It's free for everyone. Just to start off, it's a great way. It's so much better than just using your phone because you can do a couple of things. So you can take like Alicia Shepherd, for instance. Maybe if you're lucky enough to have her phone number or email address, you add those and make sure when you're going to these network events and you're trading cards, like put people's information in your database and you can tag them. You can use multiple tags. So every good database is going to have some type of tagging system. So you can tag them inner circle or circle, right? You can tag them specific. Are they an attorney? Are they a lender? Are they a hard money lender? Tag those people. Did you meet them um, at Austin's happy hour? You can tag them to that. Did you meet them at the Deal Flow Network happy hour? Tag people. Is it a distress sell? Is it a foreclosure? And by keeping your database organized, you can start to can start to analyze the performance, and you can start to get an idea of where business is coming from, and what you can start to get more narrow in your focus, right? So, spell people's names correctly. Get their last name. I know that sounds pretty basic, but those things do matter because I have about 40 people named Frank in my database right now, and if they have a common last name, find some way to get their middle
Like
name or
Austin
something.
from Houston,
Yeah,
Jones. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because Jones is a common last name.
hmm
But
yeah.
what a great way. Your name is a great example of that.
Thank you. Yeah, that I was fortunate that stuck a long time ago. Somebody called me that, and it just kind of stayed with me. And
I like
now
it.
that's what I'm known as. I'm not the only Austin from Houston, but I am the only Austin from Houston.
You're that one.
So number four, and we got about 5 minutes left. And don't forget, if you have a question or a comment or anything, leave it in the text, in the message, or you feel free to come off mute. Number four is the lead generation model. Now, you can't really get anywhere in any type of business without a lead, right? What is a lead generation model? This is for everyone. It's a model for determining your real estate investment criteria and then systematically prospecting and marketing for opportunities that match them. There's a lot of ways to do this. There's a whole lot of ways to do this. If you do them all, you will fail. So, Albert, what are some of those some of your methods? You talked about distress. You talked
Well,
about
I mean, I can tell you
wholesalers.
like what I used to do, similar to how I used to network in the beginning, right? I just said yes to everything. Yeah, I just looked at everything that came into my inbox. I was on every wholesaler's buyers list. Even though I gave them criteria, they would send me everything they had and I would try to underwrite everything they had. It just got to a point to where through my training and my coaching, understanding where exactly that I want to buy, right? I
Hmm.
wanted to buy inside the loop, south of I-10 in certain areas. I was willing to buy in Galveston County, but not in Galveston. Now I'm kind of leaning more away from flood zones, right? Flood prone areas. So that or out of the Texas windstorm areas as well, right? With insurance and things like that, just being so high these days and just continue to go up. So my criteria has evolved. I think that's another thing, right? Is in the beginning you're looking at everything, and as you understand, like, hey, I only have a limited amount of time to look at properties
Right.
or underwrite them. I need to get better at it. I need to get more efficient. I need to get more crystal clear on my criteria. So that's what I'm looking for. And now we're kind of switching to away from single family homes to small multifamilies. Not anything kind of big on the commercial side, 100 units plus things like that. But I mean, I'd look at a 15 or 20 unit depending on the area. So you're looking at that. We're really only looking at properties that are in distress,
Hmm.
things that we can get at a discount. And we're looking at the exit strategy too. And typically we want to see, can we do a short term or midterm, like furnished monthly rentals in that area? If it's much bigger unit count, like 20 plus, okay, maybe we can do some mix between some long term and then some furnished monthly rentals there too.
Right.
That's kind of why we're looking at certain areas that support those models. But that's kind of how it's evolved over the last 5 years. Yeah.
Alicia?
I think I look at like a lead generation model, and my biggest advice to people would be remember that lead generation and marketing are two very separate things.
That's good.
And this is where a lot of people get this messed up. We start doing what we think is lead generation, and you're actually spending marketing dollars, or you're
Yeah.
doing marketing activities. Social media is not lead generation. That's marketing. If you're
Mhm.
having to send letters in the mail, you're having to like send outbound, that's marketing. If it is prospecting based where you are hunting someone down and hoping that they connect and have a conversation with you, that's lead generation. And I'm very old school commercial guy. I'm a big believer in the phone call still. And I think in a world where there's so much noise coming at people and where everything is like at arm's distance and people are afraid to like pick up the phone and have a normal conversation, I think that that's actually your best shot right now at
Yeah.
getting the fastest conversion. I mean, I literally heard one of my team members today talking about like where they're having a stall out at getting something moved forward, and they're on like round 7 of like, well, I sent an email. Like, well, that's where things go to die. Like if we've sent email or text messages because we're avoiding having a phone conversation, that's why. That's why.
That
So
that's a
pick up the
huge
phone and
thing.
call someone. Pick
Yeah.
up the phone and call someone. The phone's
And
not ringing as much as it used to.
oh my gosh, yes, that is a huge thing, and I think that's such a just a dropped opportunity that people are missing right now because I I really believe that authenticity is going to be in empathy and authenticity. It's going to cut through this AI noise and
Yeah.
a lot of the noise that the social media and everything that's going on, like that stuff's not going away. But
No.
I think humans are still human, and we're gonna crave that connection with other people. And for Albert, for you to develop and cultivate a relationship with someone that is connecting you with other people, that shows they trust you. You don't earn that level of trust by sending email blasts out to
Right.
people.
Or
It's
cold
impossible.
text or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
I
Yep.
think
you have to break bread with these people.
yeah,
Yeah.
what Alicia described, to me is that high hanging fruit, right? It's higher on the tree, it's more valuable, nobody wants to climb up there, it's dangerous, it's
Everyone's
scary.
nervous. Yep.
Hmm.
Yes, exactly, right? The low hanging is, those email blasts or cold texting or those kinds of things. Like everybody's doing that, and there's no warmth, there's no feeling, there's nothing behind that. And yes, you might get lucky, right? But I'd rather make that phone call or knock on the door. Like we
Yeah.
door knock too as well on some of these people that are in distress, just trying to get in front of them and trying to connect with them and being authentic, like you mentioned, Austin. People
Hmm.
recognize that stuff. They know if you're slimy, sneaky, slippery, kind of salesy kind of talk, right? Like we start all of our conversations with, "How can I help you?" How
Right.
can I help solve your problem? I've helped probably half a dozen or more people get into a loan modification program or help them walk them through that at no cost to them. It doesn't take me a lot of time. I'm just
Right.
steering them in the right direction and they stay in their homes, you know? And they ask me, "What do you want for this?" Nothing. Just stay in your house. I'm glad that you were able to keep it,
I
right?
love it.
If you ever want to sell or you're having some problems in the future, remember me. That's it. You
Yeah.
know, you know, people
And
recognize that, but
yeah, and sometimes you get referrals and never end up doing
100%.
it.
Yes.
But I
Yeah.
think if people know that you're in my history, how we've become friends, it was kind of like that. Like I could have just like never spoken to you again after that first meeting,
Yes.
because I did not get a damn thing out of that meeting. But
Yeah. You
if
were
if
you were prepared too, buddy.
I was
But
ready to go, so
yeah,
we'll have to tell that story later.
yeah.
Um, let's wrap this up. We're almost out of time. That number five is the acquisition model. And just to review, number one's the net worth model. Number two, the financial model. And this is all in the book, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor. Number three, the network model. Number four, the lead generation model. And then number five, this is important. This is the acquisition model. We'll talk about this for a second, but it's a model for creating terms that will minimize your risk and maximize your profits when making real estate investment deals. And if you have no idea, my first recommendation for number five is to get with a lender, start building your network of lenders because they will definitely, if you're going to be financing your acquisitions, they're not going to let you make a stupid purchase, right? So, Alicia, did you have anything for the acquisition model there? I
Yep.
know you're all
Get with
about
the
that.
lender. You develop a thesis. What will be your buy box, your thesis for how you invest in real estate? And then for your first few years, you are only allowed to purchase that period end of statement.
There you go.
And that's it, because there's going to be a lot of stuff you look at that's tempting and that's sexy, and someone tries to talk you into, and that a really good real estate agent sells you on, and that a great, beautiful email blast makes you think it's an
Hmm.
opportunity that if you pass up on, you're an absolute moron and you're going to lose sleep at night wondering, should I have bought that deal? If it's not your buy box, no, you should not,
Yeah,
because your thesis is all you're going to invest in the beginning, period. That's it. And if it's not that, you're not the buyer for it. And
that's
then it
right.
makes it really easy to know what you're supposed to be focused on and what you're not. Because as long as you execute that, you're going to execute your investment goals.
Clarity. Be clear on
Yeah.
that. Albert,
It's the
anything?
act of removal. Clarity is
Yeah,
the act of removal, and that never changes.
Yeah.
I love that. I love
No,
that.
I mean, I don't really have much to add to that. This is probably the first call I've taken notes, Austin. We've got our other notes online that we're, kind of going off of, but I really appreciate the free coaching today. Yeah, great.
Well, Alicia, really just super grateful for your time. Thank you
I'm
for
glad to be here
being
today.
on the
Thanks for
call.
having me on.
We have a winner of the Blue Book, the Millionaire Real Estate Investor, Mr. Hal Twitty. So, Hal,
Woo woo.
congratulations. You get a copy of
Awesome.
the book. We know how much you like it. There you go. Doing the party emoji.
Thanks, brother.
Congratulations. Hey, thanks for coming out. Sorry I missed you. I left before you got there, and I came back after you left. So,
No, it was cool, man. We had a good time. I think the timing was perfect the way that I showed up. And then right when I was finishing, Ivan showed up. And both of us were kind of unplanned, just trying to squeeze it into our day. So, man, it
that was,
worked.
man, yeah, because I don't know if you heard Albert say, but that second stretch he did by himself was harder than the second half of the entire 50
Yeah.
miles. So, you played a
I
big role
hear
in
in
that.
that misery loves company. That's what I'm hearing in that.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, that is
there's
it.
truth there.
It's bonding over shared suffering. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love that.
You got to find friends that like to do hard stuff.
Yes, I love that too.
Alicia, how can we get to know you better? How do we connect with you in the world?
I love it. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Ask Alicia Shepherd. And you can go to aliciashepard.com.
She does live streams on
Tuesday
Instagram and
nights. On Tuesday nights, live at
Okay.
8.
We'll see you tonight.
Yeah, no, not tonight, tomorrow night.
All right.
Oh, today's Monday. I knew that.
Awesome.
Oh, I just muted Alicia. I'm sorry. I was
Tonight, I'm actually stitching a denim curtain, denim patchwork curtain that's going on the back of the stage at Orvy's Hall.
nice.
The back of my Roadhouse. Yeah, so
Nice.
fingers crossed I might have it done by Saturday, but I don't know.
Right.
We'll see.
And don't forget to come out to Orvy's in Burton, Texas, Saturday night. Alicia and I will be playing some rock and roll and some country.
514 North Railroad. Pretty cool.
514 North Rowan. All right, everybody. Thank y'all for joining us and spending your lunch hour with us. Have a wonderful, amazing rest of the day. Bye.
Bye.